everyone, welcome to VerityHearts. It's Vera. Now, I have been quiet over these past few weeks because, well, I don't know about you, but I have found the amount of information or noise around this COVID-19 or coronavirus just to be overwhelming. There is a lot of information. Some of it is useful, some of it is absolutely not. You know, we are bombarded through the press, through social media, there are videos, there are songs, and even just our everyday conversations with our friends tend to focus on this coronavirus. And I didn't want to add to the noise. Now, that's not to say this is not a serious situation and we need to be doing exactly what we're being directed to. So whether it's if you are in quarantine because you've contracted the virus or you're at a high risk of contracting it, whether you are in simple isolation, which is stay home and do not expose yourself to the risk or do not expose others to the risk, or whether you are in complete lockdown, if you're in a country that's in complete lockdown. There are things we need to be doing. This is not about pretending this situation doesn't exist. It is what it is. But this video is really about getting you to take a break, take a breath from what is going on around you right now and taking the opportunity to reflect on life that you've lived up until this point, and which parts do you want to take forward with you into the future? Because remember, this too shall pass. There will come a time where this this whole situation is done and dusted and we can return to normal life. So what is normal life? You know, this period of time when we are all doing the right things, well, if you're like me, you're probably finding you've got a lot more time on your hands. What are you doing with that time? For me, I would like to encourage you to use this time to reflect and to redesign. Because once you reflect and you have a view on what's important to you, what things were you doing, where were you dedicating your time pre-coronavirus, when you were doing that, what are the things that fed your soul, that supported you or served you in your highest potential? What are those things that you want to carry forward with you once this whole crisis is over? And what are the things that you want to let go of? Now, are you even aware you've got a choice about how you want to live your life and what kind of life you want to create? Because you do. And what will help you in determining what that future could look like is to be aware of how you're currently thinking and the operating model your mind is in at the moment. I'm going to share a model with you that was shared with me something like 25 years ago by a consultant, and it was in a corporate environment, but this model has stuck with me. And it's absolutely, I find it so valuable in helping me just notice the way I'm thinking, the way I'm talking, to then decide, is that way something that supports me moving forward or not? So let's get started. I'm going to share my screen with you. Okay, so this model is called the above and below the line thinking model. Now, we are talking about reality, two types of reality. Over here, we've got what we call the first line of reality, and this is where a fact is simply a fact. It just is. So, for example, if I said to you the weather outside, the temperature outside is 43 degrees Celsius. Now, 43 degrees Celsius is simply 43 degrees Celsius. There is no value in and of itself. But you see, we as human beings always operate from what we call the second line reality. And that is where we put a value or we put meaning to that fact. So if first line of reality is 43 degrees Celsius, you'll see different people operate either above the line or below the line. So the below the line thinking, you will hear lots of buts. you will hear lots of negativity. There will be a negative value, a negative meaning to it. There could be a fear behind it. Activities that the person takes, or action the person takes, is really focused on the actual circumstance they're in right then and there. So 43 degrees Celsius to a second line and below the line kind of person, below the line thinking person would be, oh my God, I'm just going to die from this heat. It's too hot. Yeah, you're telling me it's sunny, but if I go outside, I'm going to get burnt. I'm actually too scared to go outside because I think I'll faint. I'm going to just sit inside with the air conditioning until this reality goes away. Whereas an above the line person will be looking at it from a very positive point of view. It could be, oh, the sun's out, I'm finally warm and I can go outside. Oh, this is great. You know, I'm going to go to the beach. This is fantastic. Oh, we can go out and, you know, it's going to be a warm night and we can have a great time. So the actions that person takes are going to be very different to the actions that the person down here will take. Now, this is important for us to know because the way we think, the way we see things, or the value we place on things will determine our actions, whether the actions are going to be determined by what we're seeing right here and now, or whether the actions that we are going to take are going to be pulled from the future. We're going to actually move towards that future. So one keeps us stuck in our present circumstances because the actions we take are all around those circumstances, or the other is an expansive kind of energy that we look at the future with positive faith, with confidence, and we take very different actions. So, you know, you have heard people say, oh, you're a glass half empty and a glass half full kind of person. This is the same sort of thing. It's how we look at our present circumstances, whether we look at them and say, these are the circumstances we're in and that's all there is, or whether we look at that future possibility and say, you know, that doesn't mean we ignore the circumstances, we deal with them, but the actions we take are actually moving us to a particular future, an imagined future. So while we've got time on our hands over this period of social isolation or lockdown or quarantine, while we've got all this extra time, what are we using that time for? Are we using it to mull over everything that we're currently missing out on, everything that's not available, everything that doesn't work, and therefore we say, well, I'm going to sit down and binge watch Netflix for days and days and days? Not that there's anything wrong with watching Netflix. I certainly enjoy it. Or are we going to start looking at what's coming up in the future? What is it that we would love? And now that we've had the chance to take a break from our everyday crazy lives, are we going to imagine and plan for something that we would love? This is a great time to reflect on our lives and to really assess what is it that we want to take into our future and what is it we want to let go of. So there's nothing right or wrong when we operate from that second line reality, whether it's above the line or below the line. The key is to notice what you're thinking, notice the language that you're using, notice then the actions that thinking and those words are driving. Are those actions going to get you to an exciting, wonderful new future, or are they going to keep you stuck mulling around in the current circumstances? It's something worth thinking about, and I'll catch you next time.